Welcome to this lesson where you'll learn how to add a lens flare and customize it to better fit your photos. Here's an example on screen of our end result. This is going to take only a few minutes to complete. Start by creating a new empty layer from the bottom of the Layers panel. Use Shift F5 to fill it with color. More specifically, we're looking for 50% grey. This will allow us to place our lens flare on this layer and have more control over it. Hit OK, and you may want to convert it to a smart object. This will give you extra flexibility in the long run. Now change its blend mode to overlay. Great, now we can make it look like the sun was really shining when we captured this photo. Go to the top menu and choose Filter. From this list, go to Render, Lens Flare. Here you have a bunch of options to choose from, and these presets are fun to experiment with. My advice is you keep the brightness at 100% because we can always change it later by manipulating our layer's opacity. As you move through these, this preview shows you what you're about to get. I'll stick with the first one, and it's already looking nice. In case you want to adjust it, you can do so by clicking in this preview window. Considering our approach, that's not essential. The reason why I opted for a 50% grey layer is that I now get extra freedom to manipulate this lens flare. For example, I may want to soften it up with a blur. I'll go to Filter, Blur. From this list, let's go with the classic Gaussian blur. Anywhere around 3 pixels will start to soften it up. Furthermore, if you don't like this red highlight, you can easily change it with another adjustment layer. That's the power of this approach. Activate a Hue and Saturation adjustment layer and clip it with Ctrl-Alt-G. Now I can use this hue slider and I'll drag it to +40, which will give me a yellow-green color that's better suited for this environment. I can also take down its saturation to -100 and we'll be left with a series of white rings. It all depends on the look you're trying to achieve, plus we can also use Ctrl-T and resize it to our heart's content. For example, I can enlarge it quite a lot. I can reposition it on the canvas or rotate it. Please note that when you resize it or move it dramatically, you may end up with these edges. Can you see what's going on here? That's not ideal, but no worries. These filters come with a mask by default. So click on it and grab a brush. Choose black as your foreground color and increase it dramatically. As for the hardness, anything under 50% will work just fine. Now paint over those edges and they'll go away. Now we have a smooth transition, and in case you want to avoid brushing, you can always undo and use the gradient tool. I'm sure you're familiar with it at this point. While on the default colors, swipe and get your bearings. Depending on which color is on top, you may want to swipe in the opposite direction. And there you go. That's how you can get more freedom when generating a lens flare on your canvas. I hope this will be of good use to you. Have fun!